The final stand. Welcome back, brave souls, to the most heart-wrenching chapter in the Sigma Boy saga. Today, we witness a turning point so profound that it will leave you questioning the very meaning of sacrifice and strength. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support means the world, and your feedback shapes the future of this channel. Now, prepare yourselves, the end begins here. The descent into darkness. The town was drowning in an unnatural twilight, even though the sun still hung in the sky. The shadows had grown restless, creeping into every corner of Sigma Boy's life. Max had felt their pull ever since his encounter with the haunted mirror in the Echo House, but now the darkness was no longer content with whispers. It wanted more. It wanted him. Despite his growing unease, Max pushed forward. He had learned of a ritual, a chance to sever his bond with the shadow, to finally break free. But the cost was unclear, shrouded in riddles left by the spirit in the mirror. The instructions led him to the abandoned cathedral at the edge of town, a place long forgotten and heavy with the weight of old, unspoken tragedies. As Max entered the cathedral, the air grew thick. The grand stained glass windows, though cracked and faded, cast an eerie kaleidoscope of light across the floor. At the center of the hall stood an altar, and on it lay a single candle, its flame unnaturally still. Beside it, a figure cloaked in shadow waited. It was the same entity he had seen in fleeting glimpses, a manifestation of the power he had embraced. A dangerous bargain. The shadow's voice was a low, resonant echo. You've come to sever the bond, to cast me away. But have you considered what it will cost you, Sigma Boy? Max's fists clenched. I never wanted this. You promised strength, not this curse. Tell me what I have to do. The shadow laughed, a sound like glass breaking. Strength always has a price. To free yourself, you must give me what I've always desired, your soul. Max's heart sank. He had fought so hard to keep his humanity, to remain in control. The thought of surrendering completely felt like admitting defeat. But then, from the corner of his eye, he saw movement. A faint figure appeared, the ghostly form of the woman from the mirror. Her voice was soft yet firm. There is another way, Max. But it will demand everything you have. The ghost explained that the shadow thrived on despair and isolation. To destroy it, Max would need to offer not his soul, but his life force, a final act of defiance that would extinguish both the shadow and himself. The final battle. Max stood at the altar, the candle's flame flickering wildly as the shadow roared in defiance. You can't defeat me. Without me, you are nothing. Weak. Forgotten. But Max's voice was steady. You're wrong. I'd rather be forgotten than let you control me. The ghost placed a hand on Max's shoulder, her touch filling him with a warmth he hadn't felt in years. Together, they began the ritual. Words of power flowed from her lips, and Max repeated them, each syllable feeling like it carried the weight of the world. The shadow screamed, its form writhing as light began to pierce through its darkness. The cathedral shook, the stained glass windows shattering one by one. Max felt his strength fading, his body growing colder with each passing moment. But he pressed on, determined to see it through. With a final burst of energy, Max shouted the last word of the ritual. The shadow exploded into 1,000 fragments of darkness, dissipating into the air. The ghost smiled at him, her form beginning to fade as well. You did it, Max. You've set us free. A hero's sacrifice. As the dust settled, Max collapsed to the ground, his vision blurring. He felt an odd sense of peace, knowing that he had won. The shadow was gone, and the town was safe. But his body was failing, the ritual had taken everything. The townspeople, drawn by the commotion, arrived to find Max lying on the cold stone floor of the cathedral. His breathing was shallow, but he managed a faint smile. Tell them I wasn't afraid. With those final words, Max's eyes closed, and the world grew silent. The hope for tomorrow. Days later, whispers spread through the town about the boy who had saved them. At the site of the cathedral, a single new candle burned brightly, its flame unwavering. And in the shadows, something stirred, not a threat, but a promise. Max's story was not over. Somewhere, somehow, the spirit of Sigma Boy lingered, waiting for the moment when the world would need him again. If this chapter moved you, leave a comment below. What did you think of Sigma Boy's final act? Could there be hope for his return? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps these stories alive, and we'd love to hear which heroes or tales you'd like to see next. The shadows may have quieted for now, but the story is far from over.